Good evening and welcome to where it happened to my agenda. I had it all open and everything. Oh, here it is. Good evening and welcome to the Greenfield Public Schools Executive Subcommittee meeting, Thursday, March 6, 2025. The meeting is being held fully remotely in accordance with the Governor of Massachusetts order extending certain provisions of the open meeting law. Per open meeting law, any member of the public may make an audio or video recording of this meeting. Is anybody else besides us? The meeting is being recorded by the executive subcommittee. If any other persons present are also recording, you must notify the chairperson of the subcommittee at this time. Okay, no one else is. Let's see, we'll call the roll. Member Deneve?
Here.
Member Sexton?
Here.
And I, Glenn Johnson Musadin here, so call the meeting to order at 5:32 p.m. The first item on the agenda is approval of minutes from our last meeting, which was April 2nd, 2024. As a reminder, even people not present at the meeting are able to vote on that if they wish, just based on whether they think it represents a good faith representation of what happened at that meeting. I'd like to hear a motion to approve the minutes from April 2nd, 2024.
So moved.
Is there a second? I'll second. And any discussion? All right, not hearing any. Let's call a vote. Member Deneve?
Yes.
Vice Chair Sexton?
I'll abstain.
And I'm a yes. So the motion carries and the minutes are approved. Next item on our agenda is mentorship of Vice Chair. And Vice Chair Sexton, you asked this to be on the agenda. Do you want to set it up for us?
Yeah, so this is emerging from a conversation that I had prior to our organizational meeting with Member Deneve and a few others of just trying to more intentionally utilize the structures we have to prepare members now and in the future to be able to assume leadership roles and to understand what that entails before they get in there, to hopefully make the doing of those roles slightly more effective or easier on people to sort of know what is going to be expected before they take it on. And so part of that is me, specifically me, requesting mentorship from you, currently you as the chair. So there's like both this interpersonal one-on-one aspect of it, but there's also me thinking about future individuals who might occupy these roles and how we might be able to build in structures that allow them to mentor one another moving forward, or just so that there's greater collaboration between the offices. So that's what I was talking about. And then as a specific maybe outcome of this work, also talking about incorporating a new section to our member handbook that includes the roles and duties of the chair and also how to do that, like what that actually means, so that if somebody, when they first come onto the committee, might be like, I don't know, I'm kind of interested, but I don't really know what it does. They could read that section and decide for themselves if that's something that they would like to pursue and get more training around. Or if they're like, never mind, actually.
Yeah.
So that's sort of the intent behind me bringing this up. And I know you and I have had, for the like individual one-on-one, you and me specific portion of it, you and I have already had some discussions offline about that, but curious to hear about your all's thoughts about the more structural aspects of the idea.
Yeah. Member Deneve, do you have thoughts?
I think that being that the role of the chair has been sort of a guarded thing in the past, it's great to see and hear how much work you're doing as the chair. Not just so that we can appreciate you, but because it gives us an idea of how rigorous that job is. And it gives you an idea of whether or not you want to strive for that as, you know, in the future, or whether or not you just want to support that. But having it be transparent, I think, also lets the public know how much work we are doing. And will be helpful if somebody has to step into that role. Like, I'm afraid that if something happens and all of a sudden one of us has to do this, we may not have the information. So I think there's a lot of levels of this. And I think it's part of the forward thinking that we have chosen as a group to being more transparent and inclusive in our work.
Nice. Anything else you want to say, Member Sexton, about it, Vice Chair?
No, I mean, I think that what Member Denise added is right on and important, so that there is like, so that we do function as a body that any one of us could, if needed, pick up and fill in. But as the chair, I'd love to know what your thoughts about it are.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea to, I think it's both documenting what is currently happening, what the chair is currently doing, and then also adding essentially a new domain of activities for the chair, which is mentorship of the vice chair, and documenting that as well. And I feel like this particular situation where we have a vice chair who's explicitly expressed interest in taking on the role next year, and where there seems to be support among the school committee for that to happen, is a great opportunity, because we can really work on trying to meet your needs and just document as we do that, so we can kind of both give you what you need for that support and also create documentation that can be kind of built into the expectations of the chair doing this in the future. Obviously, chairs and vice chairs will each have their own relationships, and some chairs will invest more in mentorship than others, but at least it could be written down on paper. Like, we have a lot of things that are kind of there on paper as ideals, and someone can always speak up and say, hey, our policy says we should be doing this, you know? And if we put that in our handbook, it gives someone that leverage to try to get that mentorship in the future, regardless of who is chair. So I think it's a great idea. Maybe we can move on to the next item, which is school committee procedures list. And I can just kind of maybe talk and try to put things onto the record of these minutes of what I am currently doing as the chair. And then maybe answer some questions from you both that might help to flesh that out a little bit. How does that sound like a plan for how to proceed? Okay, so in no particular order, any member of this school committee can approve the biweekly warrants, but it seems to be that the chair is the one who approves the biweekly payroll warrant. So that is not seen by the whole committee. That's kept, I think, for personnel reasons, kept to one person being the chair to approve. That has meant kind of by default, I'm going in and approving that warrant anyway. So it seems like 99 out of 100 times end up approving the regular warrant as well, but that's not explicit for the role, but the payroll warrant does seem to be. The other thing is the chair responds to emails addressed to the school committee in a way that kind of represents the committee, often in consultation with the superintendent and town council, to make sure we're all working in concert and not working against each other. So that's part of the role. Weekly meetings with the superintendent. The superintendent kind of maintains a list of items that she needs to consult with the chair as a representative of the committee between meetings. That can't wait for the next meeting, as well as calling in between meetings about, giving a heads up about things that are happening in the schools or things that she may need feedback from the chair on that are time sensitive. There are also some ceremonial things, such as signing diplomas and shaking hands with graduates, attending the Green Spoon Awards dinner, things like that, where you're kind of representing the committee in a kind of ceremonial way. What else do I do as chair? There's the building of the agenda with the superintendent and now with the vice chair as well. I think if there's anything else, representing the school committee at city council meetings. Getting requests from school committee members of items that they want on the agenda. And I'd say actually there's some logistical things, like currently the chair is the keeper of the keys to the John Zahn Center and is kind of responsible for opening and closing that, which also puts a limit on the amount of, or it becomes a limiting factor for the school committee using that space at other times, because the way it currently is, the chair is the only one who is able to make that space available. The other logistical things, currently the chair is setting up the Zoom to be able to monitor when people attending remotely wish to make public comment. That's not something that necessarily needs to reside with the chair. Maybe that's something that could be a secretary duty, or I don't know, but that is currently the way it's organized. What else do I do? The chair receives the draft minutes. So I think the chair I haven't really done this, but could potentially write to Susan and say, can you make this change before the minutes get submitted to the full committee for the draft or for approval? Oh yeah, and some administrative liaison things, like I've worked with the superintendent on things like, could you please reorganize the way that the meetings are organized on the website so that they're more mobile friendly? Or can we make sure that Chromebooks can be available to the school committee and business cards, and giving school committee members instructions on how to request items like that, how to request having their phone number added to the school committee contact page. The school committee chair is the supervisor for the recording secretary, so Susan Farber. And I think I'm meant to do an annual evaluation of her. We just found that out last year, that the chair was actually we didn't know who was supervising Susan before, because she didn't have like an official job description or whatever. We realized that was something we needed to clean up. The chair is sometimes, if there are items that need to be, like, I guess it's like talking to the town council about various things. For example, if it appears to the chair that certain members have broken open meeting law, consulting with the council to confirm and coming up with a plan to address that or communicate with this. Sometimes, the school committee chair is the de facto enforcer of open meeting law, and so kind of reminding members of the various aspects of the law that need to be observed. So things like that. Sometimes I need to remind members of different things that we're responsible for or have to follow. putting all this out makes me realize there are actually a lot of things involved in it. uh,
Yeah,
and
once you have to say them all out loud.
yeah. And then there are things that are written into our existing policies. And maybe that could be a homework item for one of you would be going through our existing policy manual and finding items that are assigned to the chair to do, such as committee assignments, things like that. That's all I can think of right now, I think. Any questions or comments?
I'm curious if there are things that are maybe not laid out in policy or duties, but are just like past practice, maybe things that aren't required, but that are habitual or commonly done.
I think almost all of what I just talked about falls in that category.
Okay.
Yeah, like there's nothing in there that says the chair has to be the John's on contact or the laptop, the Chromebook keeper or whatever. Yeah.
Right. I don't currently have any additional questions about that, but I might in the future.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So maybe after the minutes from this meeting come out, one of you be willing to kind of write it up in the language of what could go into the policies and procedures manual, the procedures manual?
Yes, that sounds like my job.
Oh, all right.
But also, like, okay, all I do is shadow the minutes for Susan and run the alarm for public comment. So I am really capable and able to assume other duties if you feel like I should. Things that are secretarial that you might like me to do, I'm happy to take on those things. If you want me to run the Zoom, I'll run the Zoom.
Okay, great. Yeah, I would like you to do that. That'd be awesome.
I'm happy to run the Zoom. You'll just have to maybe show me next week so that I understand how it works. But I mean, sure.
Yeah, you just need to be able to log in as Greenfield Public Schools and, so you can be the host and all. But
Do you do that on your school committee Chromebook?
they do.
The way that you normally would do a hybrid meeting?
I don't always like. Currently, I'm using my personal computer, so. But yeah, I guess so. Like some there, yeah. When I need to be able to, like today, I'm using my personal computer, but I logged in using the Greenfield School Committee Zoom account so I can do the recording and have that go.
Right.
Yeah.
But essentially it's just like when we chair our individual subcommittees is I guess what I'm asking.
I guess so, yeah.
Except we're just monitoring the public comment and
Yeah.
got it.
And when we're at the, full school committee meetings at the John Zahn Center, GCTV is doing all the recording, so you don't have to worry about that.
Well, I'm very happy to take that on next week and learn it and help you. That was something that Kate and I volunteered to do back when Chair Poietti was saying that we were going to maybe change spaces and have meetings at a different place, and they needed somebody to train to do the Zoom. So I'm happy to do that, and that seems like a secretarial duty.
Wonderful. Thank you. That's great. Yeah.
Would you like the chair duties typed up for the handbook or it would go in our school committee handbook, right?
Yeah, I think that's our idea, right? Is to gather these things and put them into the handbook so people understand, and so maybe in that is not just the chair, but also like what does the secretary do? What does the vice chair do? What exactly do these officers do? Yeah.
Okay. Let me make a note to do that because I've added all of the other things to the handbook. So is the handbook on the website yet?
Let's find out. I will share my screen and we can take a look together at what is on the website. I know that the we did get the year-long agenda up here.
Oh, great.
No, I'm not. I would expect to see it here in this column. I'm not seeing it yet. So, do you want to maybe email the superintendent about that, Elizabeth, and copy me and try and get it up there?
Yeah. Yep. I will handle that.
Okay, thank you. So now thinking about mentorship of the vice chair, maybe Vice Chair Sexton, you could say more. I mean, I guess what would we've started is involving the vice chair in the creation of the agendas, which seems like a good mentor type thing, activity. What else do you see as what you would like currently as vice chair in terms of your development?
Yeah, I definitely agendas is one, but I also think that um, warrants or any understanding any of the legal stuff that gets done is probably something that I should know a lot more about in case I do ever need to be filling in for you for an extended period of time for any
Yep.
reason. That seems good. And then some of it is also just being able to also build relationships with the people that you have relationships with so that they're
Yeah.
not surprised if they ever see me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Making sure that they're aware of at any given time who is the chair and who is the vice chair so that they have a good sense of like, oh, if I really can't get a hold of this one person, or I know that this person is out sick for an extended period or is traveling for a couple of weeks or something, that I know who else I can contact
Yeah.
for anything. There's that. Um, and then I would also be interested in and willing to be part of whatever relationships we are maintaining with the city council. I,
Excellent. Okay, great.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the rest of the stuff, it can be useful to just like spend an hour or so just poking around with you and like, where would I find this if I, the and I don't know exactly what that looks like for the duties that you listed out, but the keys seems relatively self-explanatory and straightforward. Uh, and if Member Deneve is going to start taking over the Zoom thing, and I think I even know how to do that because I think I did that once with Karen. Um, but yeah, the other stuff,
Mhm.
it might just be a I watch you do it once kind of a
Yeah,
deal.
sure. Yeah. You've seen me lock up the John Zahn Center, so
I know exactly how that happens.
yeah. Yeah. And then I think the other thing is just maybe one-on-one meetings, like,
Mhm.
between the chair and vice chair where you get a chance to talk over things and um chair the chair can share their experience and the chair and vice chair can think together about things.
Yeah, I think it's good to have thought partners. It's
Yeah.
that's why we're an executive team.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think it for me it also just feels really important because you've indicated that you do not wish to seek reelection in the future, and so it feels important to start getting all of your knowledge now from your many
Yeah.
years of service. And it's already March, so the year goes really fast.
Yeah. Yeah. Have been on the school committee 6 years in May, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, the other thing that occurs to me is, a lot of times the things that come up during the week is like Karen texting me and saying, Do you have a few minutes to talk? And so maybe what I can try to do is like see if it's something where she feels comfortable doing it as a three-way call. And if she is, I'll just call you out of the blue and see if you can pick up. I don't think we can do much more in terms of coordination of times and things like that, but then you could see what those kinds of conversations are like. Okay. Anything else?
I think this one is one that we sort of start experimenting with and
Yeah.
see what we might need to revisit in the future.
So then I think we'll move to adjournment, but after adjournment, I'll stop the recording and let's put our calendars together for finding our next executive.
Is there, on the agenda that I have, there is item 3, which is reviewing and discussion of the year-long agenda. Did we already do that?
Oh, no, we haven't done that. Sorry. Yeah. Should I share my screen and we can kind of review where we are on the year-long agenda?
That would be wonderful.
Okay. Let me see if I can get this a little bit bigger. Whoops. How's that for size?
That's good.
Yeah, it's good.
All right.
Ooh, what month are we in? March.
March. We had our budget hearing at the end of February. I guess the superintendent will bring the next year's calendar to us.
I have a whole report for you for legislative priorities that I'm going to send you tomorrow.
Okay, so we'll want that on the agenda for Wednesday night.
Yeah. So I'm almost done with it. Kate and I had a chat about all of the bills. We reviewed all the bills from the Zoom that we had with our Division 5 leader. And I got your email about setting up a get together at the collaborative. I just have to get back to Todd and see when the best time might be.
Nice.
And yeah. Oh, and I can talk about the Summer Institute.
Do we have dates for it yet?
I believe we do. Okay. I'll look all that up and just give the rundown in case anybody wants to go.
Okay.
I have not gone to the Summer Institute. I don't know if I can this year, but Kate says it's great.
So what was intended by the spring professional development? Was it just for the committee to have a little bit of professional development together at our April meeting?
Yeah, we were thinking that if there's something that we have interest in learning about as a committee, maybe it's OML training, I don't know, or I don't know what it could be, something that we've identified that we need more training in or want, or have an interest in for future work, we could identify that at this time and then see if we could create a professional development opportunity for us, because we're technically supposed to be working on professional development as a group specific to our district.
Yeah. And we do have the results of our last self-evaluation, which would point to areas where we need professional development as a group. I'm wondering if someone might be willing to review that and make a proposal at our Wednesday's meeting about professional development we might be able to pull together for April.
Where would I find the data on our evaluation results? Do you know offhand where I would find that?
Yeah, it was in our packet. it was the January, it was part of our January agenda,
Regular meeting?
regular meeting, so it would be in that
Okay.
packet.
Okay, Stacy, do you want to do that or would you like me to do that?
I can do that.
Okay. I mean, I guess if there is no identified need for professional development, then like there isn't, but if we don't look and ascertain that, so I think that's why we put that bullet point in there, is just to make sure that we're reflecting on that and that we're not missing anything.
Yeah,
Right.
just as a checkpoint. Yep.
Am I also remembering correctly that April is the month where we also need to approve like international field trips and things?
They come up at
Usually.
different times.
Okay.
And now that we've adjusted our policy, that we can basically approve them much farther in advance than we used to be able to. I can't remember what the ins and outs, but so yeah, they just kind of come up as needed.
I think that we were thinking April because we always approved like the next year's big international trip then. So because everyone needed so long to raise the money and plan.
Yeah.
But right, we changed the policy. So that could probably be adjusted on the calendar.
Well, I mean, I guess I'm not sure that we need it on the year-long agenda because it just will, I mean, there will always be items that come up as needed, right? So,
Right. And also this year, the YELO conference is going to be in April. They postponed it.
yeah,
So that's something else to add to the report,
yeah,
which I will do.
okay.
I believe it's April 10th.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Progressing along. Anything else on the review of the year-long agenda that we should do? Okay, good. I think it's a useful tool, so I appreciate your advocacy for it, Elizabeth, and both of you were the ones who kind of created the rough draft that started
There's a
this.
car ride well spent.
Well done. All right. Anything else on our agenda before we move to adjournment?
I'm going to count this as an item of new business, and I don't want to discuss a lot about it, but I am wondering if we will be getting an update next week from you about what legal counsel has been saying regarding all of the emails we've been getting.
Yeah, I got an answer today, so before Wednesday, you should see emails from me about that.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Thank you.
sure. Any other items and under new business? All right. Here a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A motion to adjourn from member Sexton and a second from member Deneve is what I heard.
Yeah, that's fine.
Any discussion? Secretary Deneve?
Sure. Secretary Geneva, I'm a yes. Chair Johnson Masad.
Oh, I'm a yes.
Oh, and Vice Chair Sexton?
I'm a yes.
All right, we are adjourned unanimously at 6:04 p.m.